Live and Local is proudly sponsored by Community Savings Bank, working together with you. I'm on Communications, your source for cable, internet, and phone service. Blair Ridge Dental, your smile, our passion. Dr. Fitzgerald and Associates, protect your precious peepers. And Deary Brothers Ford, Iowa City. This is a presentation of KCRG TV9 Sports.
This is a journey.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Iowa City West High School. It is Iowa Girls High School volleyball on action for you tonight on KCRG 9.2. Frank Ballvance with you for tonight's call of the match between Cedar Rapids Kennedy and Iowa City West. I'm being joined by Barb Randall. Good evening, Barb. It's a very special night tonight here in the Iowa City West gym. Senior night. That's always special for a lot of these seniors.
That's right. It's their last home match in front of their home crowd and their friends, so it should be an exciting match because it'll be an emotional one for these seniors.
Speaking about some emotional information as well, you see a lot of yellow T-shirts here throughout the gymnasium tonight that say Beat Childhood Cancer, and both squads are wearing these T-shirts tonight because it's kind of a combined join thing. We talked to head coach Bresnahan, and she was saying that they're coming together to try to raise a bunch of money to help beat childhood cancer.
It really is a special thing. Every year, the Iowa City West School puts on a mini dance marathon to go along with the University of Iowa's dance marathon to raise funds for cancer research and that kind of thing. And last year, Iowa City West raised $20,000 for that. And
that's amazing.
Because of that, Brez had to shave her head. So there's a lot of fun things that they do. But Cedar Rapids Kennedy had lost a student, an athlete. His name was Drew, and and it was to cancer. And so they and Iowa City West have both had some tragic stories the last few years where they've lost significant athletes. And so they came together. And when the football team played, they all wore these shirts. When the volleyball team plays, as you can see, they're all wearing these shirts. And we don't know if it'll continue. I would guess it would continue for basketball and the other sports throughout the year. But it's to raise money. Then the money that they raise from it will go to this mini dance marathon fundraising that they do for the University of Iowa Dance Marathon.
You know, as far as I'm concerned, any type of cancer is not good.
That's exactly right.
Should be, we need to find some type of a cure. I mean, we can find cures for many other different things, but cancer just right now is not completely one of them, but we would love to be able to come up with it, and I think this is such a great cause. And kudos and hats off to both schools for coming together and supporting such a situation.
Absolutely, and you see, many people in the stands have shirts on, and it's just a great remembrance of what it means for everybody to take part in a bigger cause.
Yes, it is. Well, let's talk about our matchup that we've got here tonight. Iowa City West comes in ranked 9th in the state in Class 5A. They finished last year's season with a 20-17 record. They were ranked in the preseason polls here in 2013 10th, so they've jumped up just a little bit, but they've got some good competition throughout Class 5A, and right now Dubuque Hempstead at the top, and Dubuque Hempstead actually at the top right now of the Mississippi Valley Conference as well in the Mississippi Division. They are 4-0 with an overall record of 26-4. Iowa City West is in second in that Mississippi Division, 4-1 and 19-8 overall. So, and Kennedy down there in fourth. Both teams are actually having a little bit of a building somewhat year. Fairly young squad here for both teams.
Well, they're both building, however, and they're both young. However, their programs are so strong that you can expect great volleyball, whether they're building or not. They both have good coaches. They both have long traditions of being in place at the schools, and that continuity helps. And they both have built these programs up so that they're vying for making it to state every single season.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, why don't we take a quick break? I believe we can do that, and we will be coming back with our Deary Brothers Ford Iowa City keys to the game. That'll be all coming up in just a moment, along with your starters. Stay tuned. You're watching high school volleyball on KCRG 9.2. Tonight's game is brought to you by
That's you.
Community Savings Bank, working together with you. Imon's Communications, your source for cable, internet, and phone. Blair Ridge Dental, your smile, our passion. Dr. DM Fitzgerald and Associates, protect your precious peepers. And Deary Brothers Ford in Iowa City. You're watching KCRG 9.2. And welcome back to Iowa City West High School, Iowa girls volleyball. You know, the Frank Ball Vance with you once again, being joined once again by Barb Randall. Barb, the atmosphere in a gymnasium during a volleyball match is just intense. It
You
can be
can't
completely
beat it.
intense.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And it's so fast. A lot of times you can't even see where the ball's going. Next thing you know, it's in the back court. Then the next thing you know, it's across the net, and it's way back in the back part of the other side of the court. And it's just like, what just happened here?
That's right. It's a very fast-paced sport. If you haven't seen it in a few years, you need to come out and see how much it's changed, because from the 25 years ago when I played, and some more than that, but we'll call it 25. The speed is what has changed incredibly. The players are faster. The ball moves faster. It's just almost a different sport.
Well, we've got Iowa City West hosting Cedar Rapids Kennedy. Let's talk about our Deary Brothers Ford Iowa City keys of the game. Let's see if we can match up with Kennedy. What's going to take for Kennedy to come up with a win over here over Iowa City West tonight?
Well, on paper, Kennedy's not supposed to win. So if Kennedy wants to win, they need to take West out of their match, out of their game. West is ranked 9th. They need to mix things up. They need to serve aggressively, serve short, serve deep, serve spin, serve float. They just need to mix everything up, and then also mix it up offensively. Make sure you distribute it to everybody so that West never knows who it's coming from. Then hit hard shots, hit roll shots, hit tips. Do whatever you can to mix it up and change the speed of the ball so that West is never comfortable. And then in addition to that, that's not enough. Kennedy has to play scrappy defense. And by that, I mean they just can't let a ball hit the floor. If they can keep the ball in the rally going and make West make the mistake, that's going to be one of the keys for Kennedy to win tonight.
All right, well, let's go to the flip side then. What about Iowa City West?
Well, and on that same note, Iowa City West, basically, they just need to play their game and take advantage of senior night. It is a special night for these seniors. It's a special night for the fans, and hopefully the fans will help bring the seniors along and just, make them play well in this final night. And then last week, they had a very emotional win over their city rival, City High, and they had to come from behind. They were ahead, and they had to come from behind to win in 5, and so they need to build on the momentum from that. And if they can do that, they will come out on top.
Well, you talk about some of the seniors. Let's just list off the seniors that are on the Iowa City West squad. Molly Mason, a senior. She's one of their outside hitters. You've got Tony Martins. She's an outside hitter as well. Hannah Fairfield, along with Lizzie Clemmy. She's going to be a starter tonight, I believe. She's their main setter. Then you have Veronica Graves, Leah Best, Abigail Brown, and they're just the squad here so tightly knit too. They gel together. They've played together for such a long time, and what a great way to try to come up with a win tonight against Kennedy.
And they would have been sophomores when they last won the state championship. They would have been around when they lost Caroline Found and built some of that camaraderie and that teamwork. And so they still have that piece of the puzzle,
right.
and they've really grown a strong bond because of all the things that happened.
Once again, it still just amazes me the way that these teams can constantly improve. And even being young, that's one of the other things too. Being young, being able to gel together, like you said, with a championship team when they were sophomores. Now they want to try to continue that on, but being to the point, they just need to keep moving and keep it going forward.
That's right, and that's what they want to do. They want to leave their legacy behind. Each year wants to have its own legacy, and it's going to be a tough road to hoe. They are going to run up against either Linn-Mar or Cedar Rapids Jefferson. Both of those teams have first-year head coaches, and they're both turning those programs around. So West is gonna have a tough road to hoe to get back to state.
Yeah, that's the exact same thing because they're already in the regionals. If I get my information, like you said, they're going to be facing, like you said, either Cedar Rapids Jefferson or Linn-Mar. So that's still some squads that can really scrap and do a great job.
It is, and those programs are doing really well this year.
Yes. All right, let's see. What else were we going to talk about? Let's talk about Kennedy. We've got some of their starters, I do believe. It's kind of a toss-up for them because they play so many different gals here in a game, and it kind of depends on exactly when so-called the coin flip of who's going to do the serving first.
That's right. So in the sport of volleyball, you don't start necessarily, you can start in the same position, but coaches will maneuver their team depending on whether they have the serve first or not, because you may have a special server that you want to serve first no matter what. So if you don't win the serve, you rotate back one, and that will cause some different subs for front row, back row. And so we're going to take a look at the starters we think will be the starters.
Probable starters.
But they will be at least, these players will play a lot tonight.
All right, so we got Brinley Milbrath, Anna Fluent, Nikki Dean, Paige Frank, Macy Anderson, Jaden Gilson, Aaron Coker, Madison Meyer, Kendall Meyer, and Sarah Ryder. Those are all probables because of the fact, like we were saying, the rotation could all depend on who gets the serve first.
That's right. They won't all start, but they'll get a lot of playing time. Coach Goodall told us that she does play a lot of people, and that's a good thing. That gives a lot of players confidence, and it gives them experience for building that program.
You look at some of the positive plays that have happened in the past week for Kennedy. Anna Fluent, she had 33 assists a week ago against Waterloo East. Maddie Meyer, 9 aces against Waterloo East. And then Maddie Meyer also with 22 digs against Dubuque Hempstead back on the 28th. So those two players right there, I think, is what West is going to want to try to so-called stay away from, if at all possible. On the other side, we look at Iowa City West. They have had some tremendous things. Here's our starting lineups for them. Lizzie Clemmy, Molly Mason, and I've got that information here for you. Molly Mason is the outside hitter for him. Lizzie Clemmy, of course, she is going to be their main setter. Allie Tauken, she is one of the middle blockers for this West squad. Lainey Whitehead, another setter and also a hitter. Then you also have Tony Martin. She's the outside hitter as well. And then Michaela Morgan. And then we also have a substitution tonight, which came in. We don't have her number as of yet because she's a freshman.
Right.
She is going to be coming in and playing the role of the libero.
That's right. The normal libero, Maddie Miller, is out with appendicitis. So Gabby will be coming in and playing libero tonight, and we just don't have her number. So we apologize for that.
Talk a little bit about that position.
Absolutely.
That's only come into play within the last few years.
Yeah, I would say 10 or 11 years ago. What has happened is, and this is going to be a long story, and I apologize for that, but you can stop me at any point. The gods of volleyball wanted to get volleyball on TV more often, but they couldn't do that because if you had in the side out rules, if you had a 3-set match, sometimes it lasted a half an hour, and if you had a 5-set match, sometimes it would last 2.5, 3 hours. So TV couldn't plan around it. So all the heads of volleyball came together and changed to a rally scoring format where they can keep the whole match, whether it be 3 sets or 5 sets, more closely to that 2-hour time limit, and TV can plan more around it. So when that happened, they made changes with the scoring. So we came to rally scoring where you don't have to serve to get a point. Another rule that changed was net serves are allowed. So now if the serve hits the net and goes over, then you play it. In my day, we didn't touch that. And then another rule change was the libero or libero. They're both correct pronunciations, and that is a defensive position that basically what they created that for was to make the rallies longer because players are getting so good and so strong that one swing, the ball would be down. So they've added a defensive specialist, I guess I should say, to come in and try and get those balls up. So the libero wears a different color shirt so you can identify her, and so the refs can identify her on the court, and she has some special rules. She cannot attack the ball by jumping from anywhere in front of, well, actually she can't do it anywhere.
Right.
She can't set the ball to another player if she's in front of the 3-meter line, and it used to be when it first started she couldn't serve, but they changed that rule. So, but basically she's in there to defend, and they put those other rules in place because they didn't want her to be a setter, and they didn't want her to be a back row attacker. So that's why some of those rules are in place.
And more or less, it's not considered a substitution.
Correct. So when she comes in, so the substitution rule in volleyball is whoever comes in for me, I have to go back into that position. Not necessarily that number, depending on who else has gone in there, but that position. And for the libero, she can run in and out basically freely. It doesn't count as a substitution, but it does get tracked by the assistant scorekeeper. And so it's a benefit to the sport of volleyball because it also gets more defensive-minded kids involved in the sport. You don't have to be 6'3" and a hammer. So
exactly. You can work more on that defense in regards to
right.
the digs.
Ball control.
Ball controls and everything. So, all right, sounds good. Well, we've talked about that quite a bit. Let's take another quick break. We'll regroup a little bit, come back, and hopefully here shortly we'll be having a wonderful match between Cedar Rapids Kennedy and Iowa City West. You're watching Iowa High School Volleyball on KCRG 9.2. Back at Iowa City High School, Cedar Rapids Kennedy visiting the Trojans of Iowa City West. We've got Iowa Girls High School volleyball for you here on KCRG 9.2. Frank Ball-Vansel and Barb Randall back with you once again. We've got a little bit of time yet here. Talk about some of the different types of offensive formations that these squads
You're trying
can
to trip
do.
me up.
I am trying to trip you up because what I know, some can play a 5-1, some can play a 6-2.
Yep, and I will let you know as the match goes on which plays which. But a 5-1 is you play with one setter and 5 hitters is technically why it's called that. And the setter rotates through the front row and all the way around. And I can go into more detail if you want more detail, but I doubt people want more detail. A 6-2, you play with 6 hitters and 2 setters, and that seems like more than 6 players, so how do you do that? But the setter in a 6-2 rotates out in the front row, and a hitter comes in for her. So you always have 3 hitters across the front row.
Well, there you go. That was easy.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
And there's an I-4-2 too, but nobody does that anymore.
Yeah. You know, it has actually been quite a while, other than last year, since I've done high school volleyball, and I was back to the point where, when were we doing it? 93 and 94 on radio. So that was prior to the libero as well.
Yep.
So it was definitely an interesting situation, and I think this actually makes the game a little bit more interesting.
Well, when it was I was an assistant coach at Purdue when they were starting to talk about changing the format and how should we change it, and they talked about making it a timed game, which the volleyball coaches argued, no, that would make it like basketball. And so this really has been, I would call myself a traditionalist, but this really has been a good change. The games seem to go faster. They seem more exciting. When it was first talked about, we were afraid that it was taking away the comeback aspect of our sport, which we think is real special because, in basketball, if you get down by 40 points, you're not coming back.
You're done.
But in volleyball, I've been in matches where I was down 14-2 and we came back and won.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't, we were afraid that wouldn't happen, but I've actually seen it happen in rally scoring also. So there's, the arguments that were there at the beginning have kind of gone by the wayside.
In the JV match, the match went to 5 sets, and that was actually a pretty intense game there between those two squads. Kennedy did come up with the win, 3-2. They won by, I believe it was roughly 4 points in there in the last set. So, but yeah, anything can happen, especially with the way that it works now with the libero, and got a chance to come back and get that extra rally.
Well, and that's one thing that a couple rules I forgot to talk about. Now we play to 25 points. You still have to win by 2. We play 3 out of 5. That's the same at most levels. I mean, I think some younger levels still play 2 out of 3. But other than that, it basically is the same game.
All right, well, we're just about ready to get things underway here as they are going to be doing
you're not going to ask me about defenses?
Okay. Well, defense then. Give me some
we only have a couple seconds, but we'll talk about them as they play. As they play. So we'll kind of explain them as they play.
It's always a fun time when we have Barb Randall as our color commentary on KCRG 9.2. So, boy, I tell you, what do you think? Any predictions?
Oh, I learned a long time ago it's not safe to make predictions.
We got our national anthem, so why don't we go for that shortly? Maybe. They're actually talking and doing a
tribute to the cancer shirts.
Yes, cancer shirts. Still a great deal. Great deal for these two schools to come together and do such a situation. All right, we're still kind of
they're showing a video.
Oh, they're going to show a video. How have you been affected by cancer? All right.
My sister is a cancer survivor.
I don't know if we can really get that, unfortunately. So I tell you what, it's a neat situation, though.
My mom is my guardian angel.
As we were talking earlier, there you go. You got it right there.
My mom's battle has been an inspiration for me. Lilia dances in my heart. My grandmother lost her battle.
My friend is still fighting. My wife survived cancer last year.
My mom is dancing in my heart. My grandpa is dancing in my heart. My dad is a fighter. My friend Carol is a survivor. And my aunt dances in my heart.
My aunt Ellen is dancing in my heart.
My dad is 90 years old and is a survivor.
My mother-in-law dances in my heart.
My wife is a cancer survivor.
My dad dances in my heart. My mom is a survivor. My mom is a survivor.
My brother will live forever. My dad is a survivor. My aunt is fighting right now.
My dad is a fighter.
I have a brother that's a fighter, a brother-in-law that is a fighter. My mother-in-law is a survivor. And my dad dances in my heart.
And there you go.
I don't know how you talk after that.
It's very tough. I unfortunately have had two close people that we lost cancer. Unfortunately, not necessarily childhood cancer, but two were esophageal cancer and one was leukemia, which is a blood cancer. So, everybody's affected by it. Everybody knows someone that is affected by cancer, one way or the other. I still wish we could come up with a cancer. Cancer sucks. That's all I gotta say. Cancer does suck. But in the end, sometimes it'll be fine. All right, looks like we're going to do our national anthem, so we will head to that here.
Please remember that sportsmanship is one of our trademarks at West High. It is an important part of high school athletics. Please treat the teams and fans with respect and class while supporting your school with enthusiasm and spirit. We hope you enjoy the match. Go West!
And now, let's meet the starting lineup. For the Cougars of Cedar Rapids,
Well, here we go. We've got our starting lineups then.
They're trying to trip us up with the national anthem.
They are trying to trip us up with the national anthem.
Number 6, Nikki Dean.
Nikki Dean, senior there for Kennedy. Aaron Coker,
Number
senior.
14, Paige
And we've got Paige Frank. She's a freshman. She's an outside hitter. She's had some good quality time playing here for Kennedy as well.
Madison Meyer.
Madison Meyer there for you.
And now let's meet the women of Troy. Number 3 is Michaela Morgan.
Michaela Morgan, junior, middle blocker.
Number 6,
And we got number 5, Tony Martin. She's an outside hitter. Got number 6, that's Lizzie Clemmy. She's a senior. She's the setter for the Trojans. We got number 10, Molly Mason. She's a senior. She's outside hitter for the Trojans. And then we also do have Allie Tauken. She's the middle blocker as well. Allie Tauken last week had 10 blocks against Iowa City High. That's going to be huge. That is going to be huge for those. Now we have our national anthem. So we will join them with the national anthem and honoring our country.
Removing your hats and everyone standing at attention as we now proudly present to you our national anthem.
All right, and there we go. That's our national anthem for you tonight. We're getting ready to get underway with some huge action here from Iowa City West as Cedar Rapids Kennedy is here to take on the Iowa City West Trojans. Kennedy, they're in the regionals as well. They're going to be matching up. Let's see. They're going to be taking on Waterloo East on the 28th at home. Then the winner of that match will take on Clinton coming up on Halloween. Who has a game on Halloween? Come on. Seriously?
Well, when I played in high school, our you had 3 rounds. So our first round was on Halloween.
Really?
And then the semis and the finals were on Saturday the 1st.
All right, so let's see if we can run these down again. I didn't quite get all those, but we got Lainey Whitehead for Iowa City West. We've got Molly Mason, Michaela Morgan, Allie Tauken, Tony Martins, and Lizzie Clemmy. And then our libero is going to be Gabby Delsing.
And we now know she's number 8.
She is number 8, so we'll work on that. Write that down. Got that information there. Then on the other side, we do have Brinley Melbrath along with Aaron Coker. And we have, now there's 20. I don't have number 20. Oh, there it is, 20. Anna Fluent, she's in there. And we have also Sarah Ryder is in there.